Waheguru Khalsa, Waheguru Fateh. It seems that there's been so much pressure put on the Yogi Bhajan organizations from the revelations that Pamela Dyson has published in her new book, Premka, My Life with Yogi Bhajan, that the Yogi Bhajan organizations are forming a committee, or they already have formed a committee, that will investigate these allegations of abuse that have been revealed by Pamela in this book. And for all of you who haven't read this book, I highly recommend it. It gives the behind-the-scenes action and events in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s that happened around Yogi Bhajan. Now, these revelations have been so explosive in catalyzing Kundalini Yoga students and teachers to stand up against abuse by Yogi Bhajan, that this committee has been formed to investigate those allegations of abuse by Yogi Bhajan. Now, these 5 individuals who have signed on to this letter that was just sent out to the 3HO and Sikh Dharma communities have been longtime Yogi Bhajan followers or disciples. I know all of them. And I've had dealings with most of them through the past 40 or so years that I've been in 3HO and around Yogi Bhajan, and then for the last 10 years or so after I left the group. So I remain skeptical about just exactly what this group will investigate and how they're going to go about doing this. And I have good reason to be skeptical, believe me. For all of you who may not know who I am, my name is Gursant Singh, and for at least the last 10 years, I have been publishing on the internet photographs and articles showing how Yogi Bhajan abused his students, how he twisted the Sikh religion. He committed frauds against his students by lying about the history of his and lineage of his Kundalini Yoga. I have really been diligent, I would say, in putting this information out there. I've been tireless in that regard, and I've never given in to their vitriol, their accusations that I'm being paid to do this, which is completely false. So again, I remain skeptical, because this letter, if you knew anything about these Yogi Bhajan disciples' history, you'd know that this is just right out of the blue that this letter has come, proposing this investigation. So they say in this letter that they want to hire somebody, they said here, a neutral person, independent. They said third-party independent investigation to seek the truth and the extent of the allegations so that our members can feel secure and safe. So let's see what they do. I think they really need to hire a retired judge, somebody who would be beyond reproach, who would be completely neutral and beyond their political and business influence. So they also say here that they pledge, they say they pledge to act with clarity and listen to all concerns. So I pray that this is truly their objective and their resolve. But again, I'm skeptical. I think what's happened is there's been an enormous amount of heat, enormous amount of backlash from the Kundalini Yoga community and people who buy Yogi tea. Just today, I saw a video that a woman made who is taking teachers training, Kundalini Yoga teachers training. And she is so sick, she says, after reading Pamela's book, Premka, that she ripped the picture of Yogi Bhajan off the Yogi tea package and said, he's no longer my master. I don't know how I can finish this Kundalini Yoga teacher's training. And so people are angry. They're angry that Yogi Bhajan deceived them. They're angry that 3HO and these longtime Yogi Bhajan followers have deceived them for so many years. And so it's a real backlash. And I think there's really no other response that the Yogi Bhajan leaders could do but to put out some kind of letter saying they're going to investigate. They need to put a stop on this. And so I hope it's sincere. I pray it's sincere. But again, I have my questions about it. And I'll remain skeptical until I really see some action. You know, actions speak louder than words, they say. So let's just see what they do. And I hope and pray that this independent investigator, as they say, will investigate everything. As it says here in this letter, this committee wants to investigate all concerns from everybody. Everybody's welcome. So we'll see. In the past, at least two of these individuals, Shanti Kaur and Gurujot, have directly attacked my legitimate criticisms of Yogi Bhajan and his teachings. I'll read for you what they said. This Gurujot is the Secretary General, and she's also a member of the Sri Singh Sabh Corporation board, I believe. And so she has a very high position. And in 2015, she sent a letter out to all the Khalsa Council members. And I happened to get a copy of it. So it was quite a shock to me. But she says here, at our meetings, this Khalsa Council meeting, we will be addressing a number of serious matters which have arisen over the past few months. There has been an aggressive slander campaign aimed at damaging and discrediting the teachings and legacy of Yogi Bhajan. They call him the Sri Singh Sabh, this fake title basically that Yogi Bhajan made up. Discrediting the teachings and legacy of the Sri Singh Sabh and our organizations. This campaign, led by a former student, and that's referring to me. They don't say my name, but everybody knows that's who it is. This former student of Sri Singh Sabh has escalated through his social media efforts. So she's directly attacking my legitimate criticisms, and they worked out a strategy, evidently, from what I can tell in the letter, for dealing with me. So from time to time, the Yogi Bhajan disciples will post statements against me that are false. For example, Gursant Singh, the CEO of SikhNet there, who's part of this Yogi Bhajan organization and part of the leadership there, has posted comments saying that I'm being paid to spread lies about Yogi Bhajan and about the organizations that were founded by Yogi Bhajan. So this is completely false. I do this as a seva, if you will. I completely volunteer my time. I only want the truth to come out about all of these issues. Nobody has ever paid me to make any videos or post anything on social media or to enter into these discussions. I feel very strongly about how Yogi Bhajan lied to all of his students about the lineage and the history of his Kundalini Yoga. Yogi Bhajan insulted the Sikh religion and defrauded basically the Sikh religion by appropriating Sikh names and giving them out like candy to all of his students when they didn't even know what Khalsa and Singh and Kaur mean. This was a real insult and a demeaning and disrespect of the Sikh gurus and the Sikh religion. Yogi Bhajan also made up this completely false narrative about how Kundalini Yoga was passed from Guru Nanak to his son Sri Chand, and then to Guru Ram Das Ji, and then in some secret vision was given to Yogi Bhajan and was not given to any other Sikhs. This is a completely false narrative in order to bolster Yogi Bhajan's tantric and Kundalini Yoga credibility. Yogi Bhajan made up this fake lineage about a Sant Hazara Singh being his teacher. A Philip Deslepi wrote an excellent academic paper which refutes Yogi Bhajan's fantasy lineage of Kundalini Yoga. You should all read it. Basically, Mr. Deslepi says that, and shows with proof that Yogi Bhajan made up most of his asanas and kriyas, as he calls them, and he mixed Sikh shabads and Gurbani into his kriyas and meditations, which, again, appropriating the Sikh religion in a way that is disrespectful and violates the Sikh Rahat Maryada, which is the Sikh code of conduct. You cannot take Gurbani and Sikh scriptures out of context and make them into mantras that are purporting to give you power or wealth or health. You know, this is not part of the Sikh religion. And this is what Yogi Bhajan did. He lied to all of us about what the Sikh religion was about and how to practice the Sikh religion. And this is one of my issues that I have with 3HO, how they continue to twist the Sikh religion. I've written many posts and made many videos trying to appeal to people like Gursant Singh and this Gurujot Kaur and others in the Yogi Bhajan organizations to stop using Gurbani in their religious, or in their Kundalini Yoga practices. Stop using Sikh names like Khalsa, Singh, and Kaur when you don't even know what that means and you don't practice the Sikh code of conduct. Now, for most of you who are Kundalini Yoga students and teachers, I know you're concerned more about the abuses that Yogi Bhajan perpetrated against his students. Well, I've talked about in many of my videos how Yogi Bhajan abused his power. And he abused his power for money and sex, and he wanted to grasp more power and control over all of his students. And I tell about many of the stories in my book, Confessions of an American Sikh, which you can also get on Amazon. And I would highly recommend you read my book for all the many stories that I tell about how Yogi Bhajan abused his students for power, money, and sex. There's a lot of good stories in there. So you can see why I'm skeptical about this new proposal for a committee to investigate. I want to also read you how I was met in 2009 when I returned from India. I was arrested there on false charges, but I had the opportunity to read a great book called Sikhism and Tantric Yoga, which was written by a Dr. Gursant Singh, who spent months with Yogi Bhajan. And he wrote this book, which I found in India when I was there, and had the opportunity to sit down and read. As I said, I was arrested on false charges, so I had a lot of time on my hands. They took away my passport, and finally, though, with Waheguru's grace, I was able to escape from India through Nepal and return back to the United States. It's all described in my book. It's quite a page turner and an adventure for all of you who would like to read about it. So when I returned, I started to communicate with people who I thought were my friends in the 3H organization and in the community there in Espanola, New Mexico. And I thought that they would listen to, at least listen to what I had to say about these revelations that Dr. Gursant Singh was publishing that showed conclusively how Yogi Bhajan lied and twisted the Sikh religion in order to fit his tantric and kundalini yoga agenda. But instead, I was met with a brick wall, basically. And all of these people who I thought were my friends and companions and even family members, they ostracized me, and they just really marginalized me to the point where I really didn't have a choice but to leave the community. They called me a slanderer and that I was spreading negativity, all these standard narratives that you observe from cult behavior and the cult narrative. And this was a letter that I received from Shanti Kaur, who was the site administrator of the Espanola Ashram Ning site, she called it. Now again, the Shanti Kaur Khalsa is one of the committee members on this new committee that says they're going to investigate these abuses by Yogi Bhajan of his former students. So she writes, Shanti Kaur writes to me after I've asked politely to post on their new Ning site some criticisms that I have of Yogi Bhajan and his teachings. And she writes me and she says, and this is on the 12th of January 2010, she says, I received this forwarded email from Swaran Kaur, Secretary of the Espanola Ashram, regarding our new Ning site. Shanti Kaur says, we are not interested in being a sounding board for slander against Yogi Bhajan. If you would like an audience who would appreciate your insidious comments, go to Rick Ross's site. He's also somebody who makes people aware of cults. And so, you know, instead of sitting down and discussing with me my concerns and what I found in India, this Shanti Kaur just sarcastically tells me to go jump in a lake. Negative dialogue is what Shanti Kaur says. This was very hurtful to me. And after I had been in this community for, at that point, at least 25 years, it was very hurtful and painful. So I really pray that this new committee is not just trying to fake it and trying to just put this out there so that it looks like they're doing something about all these allegations. They may be just trying to fake it so that all of this uproar is going to calm down. But I'll tell you, I'm going to make sure that this uproar continues until there's really legitimate investigation with a neutral third party. Like I said, somebody like a retired judge would be perfect for this. And they need to investigate everything. They can't just investigate one allegation from Pamela. There are hundreds of allegations against Yogi Bhajan. People have kept quiet for years. There was this site, Wacko World of Yogi Bhajan, where many former followers of Yogi Bhajan posted on there that they had been abused by Yogi Bhajan. I can't tell you how many stories there are out there. When you start investigating, it is just a whole can of worms. We need to get to the bottom of all of this and reconcile. So I encourage you all to read Pamela's book, visit this Premka, White Bird in a Golden Cage Facebook group page. It's a private group, but if you message me or ask to become my friend on Facebook, I will invite you to come to the group or accept your request to join the group. It's got about 1,000 members now. It started out with just about 2 weeks ago, actually. I think this group started, maybe less, maybe 10 days ago. And it's just really grown quickly because people are very interested in this topic. There are a lot of things that need to change over there at 3HO and these Yogi Bhajan organizations. So let's be active, let's be diligent, and I will keep you updated on all of the posts and letters that are being published on these different investigations, and you should also visit this Premka White Bird in a Golden Cage and join that group, and then that way you can get all of the updated information quicker than I can put it on videos. Thank you for your time. Waheguru Khalsa, Waheguru Fateh.